Hi, welcome to excelrush.com. Today we are going to learn about how to manage your insurance policies better on Excel. Let's say you are 4 people in your family and you have a lot of different kinds of insurance policies. Right? It is very difficult to manage them. Remember which one is due for premium payment, how much is my cover in each. A lot of things is difficult to just keep it by heart. So what we will do is we'll learn how to put everything in one single sheet and get your analysis out of that one single sheet itself. So then managing your policies will be a very easy task, and you will have to just review it once a year. Every year you just have a look at that sheet once, update whatever you need to, and you're good to go for the entire year, right? So what we are now going to do is first we will create a structure for maintaining the data of these policies. So this is the structure that I follow. You can add couple of columns if you'd like to, depending on your style of maintaining the data. But these columns must be there. So the first is account. When I say account, meaning who is the person who's going to pay this premium, in whose name is the insurance, right? Then type is the type of insurance, obviously, whether it is a life policy, whether it is a health insurance, Mediclaim, or a car insurance, whatever it is. Which company have you taken the insurance from? What is the policy number? What was the issue date? What is the cover amount of this policy? What is the payment mode? This will come to a little later. Then what is the premium amount? When is it due? Premium date. And have you made this payment or not yet? Simple enough to understand, right? You can add a couple of columns if you'd like to maintain some more data about it. So the first example I'm going to put here is I'm going to write husband. So I'm not putting any names. I'm just writing a relation. So you understand that, okay, let's say there are 4 people in your family. One is a husband, a wife, and the husband's parents. I'm going to take that as an example. So 4 people in the house. So the type of insurance here is, let's say, life policy. The company is Bajaj Allianz. I have no intention of using any particular company's names. It is just an example. So you put your company's name, whichever you have that type of policy from. The policy number, I'll just put a random number. This is just a sample number. The date, so I'm going to say that the issue date is 31st January 2019. The cover of that is 25 lakhs. So I'm going to put L here because we are not going to really use this for any calculation. But if you want to use the cover also for some calculation, then do not put 25L, use the actual amount, 25 lakhs, put the actual number, right? Payment mode, you use it as online. So this is basically where some of our policies we pay online directly, or for some of our policies, we contact our agent and we tell them that, okay, this is the check and you make the payment for me. Whichever ways your mode of payment, you must write it there. So it's easy to remember that, okay, if it's online, I need to go online and do it. If not, I have to send a check to this person or this company, whoever is handling my insurance policy. Then the premium amount, I'll put an example of 12,500 here. The premium date is 30th January 2020. And now whether this payment is made or no. So the day that I'm creating this data right now, yes, this payment has been made. So I'm going to put yes. Otherwise I can leave it blank or I can put no, whichever ways you want it. Let's take one more example. So now I'm going to say mother, I'm going to go a little faster. Accident, there is an accident policy from Max Bupa, again just an example. Then a random policy number. Issue date, I'm going to put as 2nd February 2019 with a 5 lakhs cover. Again, a payment is not online, but a check to, you put the name of the person or the company. So you remember that, okay, I have to send the check to this particular entity. Premium amount, and let's say 1st Feb 2020. And yes, this payment also I have made. So this way you start entering all the policies data. So now I'm going to show you the actual data that I've already entered. So it looks like this. This is how you should be able to finally have your sheet in place. So here you see there is mother, there is husband, there is wife, and then there is father, right? So all 4 people are covered. All the different types of insurances are covered: life policy, accident, house insurance, critical illness, car, health or mediclaim. Then LIC, I personally like to keep it as a separate entity because it's just a larger amount in terms of premium. So that's why I like to keep it separate. So I put LIC as a type itself. Then here I put a company. Cover, I have put it like this. In house, you will see a cover like this because that's how it is. So you put your cover depending on that. Car, again, it will not be a very standard figure. It depends on the value of the car. Now, one very important thing here is in 3 places, I have put a plus and then also a number. So that particularly shows that the original policy was 15 lakhs and I have a bonus of 2.25 lakhs on that policy. So my original cover was only 15 lakhs. Additionally, I have a 2.25 lakhs of bonus. Similarly, here the original policy was 10 lakhs. I have a 5 lakh bonus. And similarly here 15 plus 10.7 as the bonus. Right? So this is how I have made my data. Here you see payment made and these are not made. Okay. So I have already sorted this by the premium date. So ideally that is what you have to do. So once you make this data, I'm just going to change the sorting and then we'll see how to really do it. So let's say this is the data that you made randomly from your file, right? Now what you do is you select the entire data, Control A, you go to sort and then here you say the premium date, oldest to newest, and you say OK. So you get your first payments of the year in the beginning and the last payment of the year in the end. Simple, right? To the dates, what you should do is you select the date, right? And you can press a Control Shift 3 to change the date format so that it becomes very easy to read. Control Shift 3. Now one more thing that we are going to do here is we are going to convert this data to a table. Okay, so it becomes very easy to enter the data and also in terms of filtering the data and also in terms of making the pivot tables. So to convert this data into an Excel table, what we are going to do is we're going to keep our cursor inside the table and press Control T. Control T. So this option comes up. Where is the data for your table? It is already selected because I had put my cursor inside the table and it says yes, my data has headers. So there is a tick automatically there. Here. Now I'm going to press OK and boom. Suddenly the formatting is changed and it looks more like a table which is colored and all of that, right? So you remember that we had done it to this date. Now we're going to do the same thing to this date. So I'm selecting that and pressing Control Shift 3. So that's also done. Now whenever I want to add a new value as in a row, all I have to do is keep my cursor on the last row, last cell and press a tab. Alright, and I can enter one more data. So again I press a tab from the last point, I can enter one more data. It gives me alternating colors, so it's easy to even identify which row is what. For now I'll just delete these rows, and with that we are done with maintaining our data. Now let's quickly see how to use a slicer because we have created an Excel table here. Okay, so this is again available only in the later versions of Excel. So if you have a older version of Excel, slicer will not be available. Having said that, you don't have to worry. The latter part of the video is also applicable for you when we'll create the pivot tables to get your reports out of this, right? So I'm going to go to table design on top because my cursor was inside the table, inside the Excel table. I got this new tab called table design. Okay. In that I have this option called insert slicer. And here I'm going to take account, type. I'm going to take these two, account and type. And suddenly you get these two kind of things. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom out a little and I'm going to place these two here. Okay. Now, if I want to filter this data, normal filter we all know, right? You go here and you filter the data. This is also a better way of filtering using the slicer. So if I want to see only of the father's data, I just have to click here father and the data gets filtered. If I click on this clear filter, that goes away. If I want to see only mother's data, I click on mother. If I want to see mother and father both, I keep control pressed and click on father and then both are selected. So you see here mother and father, right? Now within this, if I want to see only and only Mediclaim, then I need to click here. Now I see my father's Mediclaim, my mother's Mediclaim, that's it. So this is how you can use Slicer with the Excel table to be able to filter your data very, very fast. Okay, this is one part. Now what we are going to really do is get our analysis out of this. So we are going to create our pivot tables. So let's create two pivot tables one by one. So I'm going to keep my cursor inside the table, go into Insert tab on top and click on Pivot Table. And I'm going to say yes, my range is table 1 because that's the name of the Excel table that we just created. And I'm okay to get my pivot table in a new sheet. And I press OK. If you do not know how to create pivot tables, I have put a link in the below description where you understand how to first create a pivot table and then you come back here to be able to do it faster. Anyways, you will be able to learn it. But if you want to learn it from scratch, you go to that link and learn it there and then come back. Yeah. Cool. So the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to take type and put it in rows. So now you have your type wise policy. And now I'm going to take my premium date and put it in columns. So I get my months. Now some of you may not have got months. Some of you may have got it like this. Okay. Like dates, actual dates. You don't have to worry. Just right click on any date and click on group and take months here. Just take months. And you say OK, and it will group everything by month. Okay, and then you say premium amount and you put it in values. So now you know how much premium is to be paid in Jan, Feb, March. There's nothing in April, that's why there is no column for April. May is 3 different premiums, June, July, October, November, and so on. So if you see, November is a high value. Similarly, you get your totals for accident policy, your car insurance, your critical illness policies, your life policy. There are 2 policies in life, 1 and 2. In Mediclaim also multiple, right? So this way you can understand that your highest amount is going for Mediclaim. Clear? This way you can easily identify how much for each type you are paying. Now in this itself, I can add the account above the type in rows or below the type in rows. It's up to you. So I would prefer personally to put it above. So what I know now is that here for the father there are 4 policies and these are the different payments. For the husband there are 4 policies. These are the different payments, 4 types of policies. Mother there are 4 types of policies and wife there is 1 type of policy. Now you may feel that why is not Mediclaim there for wife? Because in the husband, the Mediclaim is a floater. It includes the wife. So that you can somewhere mention here as a separate column or however you want to mention it as a remark somewhere where this is a floater policy that is being paid from the husband's account. That is why the account is husband and the type is Mediclaim. But add a remarks column and mention that there is a floater. Clear? So this gives you a very, very good understanding of, okay, the total of the father in the entire year is 73,765. Total of the mother is 48,032 and so on and so on. So this is the first analysis that we were able to do very, very easily without any problem. So now you can look at this table once in a year and identify if you're overpaying something somewhere, you need to reduce or you want to increase if you feel that you have more capacity to bear that kind of expenditure for insurance, right? We'll make one more pivot table. So we'll go back to full data. We'll say insert pivot table. Now this time we're going to place it next to the original pivot table. So I selected existing worksheet. I take location here and I'm going to place it here and I say OK. Now here what we're going to create is account wise, but I'm going to put account in columns. And I'm going to put premium date in rows. So I get my months here and premium amount here. So this is basically for more of a cash flow point of view, right? Here I understand that from Jan I have to pay 12,500. For Feb I have to pay 4,228. From which account, right? So here I don't need the type. Okay, because I'm not interested in terms of what is the which insurance. Here I'm more interested in how I have to make my payments. So this clearly tells me in May I should have 1660 from my father's account. I will have to pay 19874 from the husband's account and 6044 from the mother's account. That gives me the total of this much. Right? So you are able to then manage your money in those particular accounts much better, so that you don't get a surprise. Right? For example, in November, you see that the father has to pay a large sum of 67,721 just in one single month from one single account. So you need to ensure that that much amount is already available in the father's account before that month starts. Simple enough, right? This is how you create your reports for analysis. Now what we are also going to do is we are going to create a slicer here also. Okay. So now what I can do is I can go into pivot table and I can click on slicer, and here I can take this column which is payment made. Okay. And I'm going to say okay. Now right now this particular slicer I created from the left side pivot table, right? Now I'm going to also what do is I'm going to connect this to the right side pivot table also. So I'm going to right click on the slicer, say report connections. If you have a little older version of Excel, you will get pivot table connections. If you have even an older version of Excel, you will anyways not have slicer at all. So this may not be applicable for you. But yes, here you can have report connections or pivot table connections. And then I'm going to tick the other table also, which is the new one that we created, right? So now this slicer is going to affect both the pivot tables. I'm going to zoom out a little. Yeah. Oh, sorry, this gets hidden. I'll just open these up so you can see them better. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this yes. So now what I'm seeing is all the payments that I have already made. You remember we have made 4 payments. So that's why now you are seeing data of only those 4 payments. But if I click on blank, I see all the data where payment is yet to be done. Make sense? So now actually I have to focus only on this data for the rest of the year, right? If I remove the filter, I see everything, but I'm more interested right now in the blank, or you just put no here, and that's how you can do it. So if I say no, and now I'll have to refresh the pivot table. So I'll say refresh all pivot tables. Now you get a no here. So if I click no, I get my data as in these are the payments that are yet to be made in this particular year. So this makes life very easy in managing all your insurance policies. Every year at the beginning or at the end of the previous year, you just review this once, put all your fresh policy numbers that you have got based on the renewals. If you have additional covers or there is a difference in the covers, you do that. If there is a difference in the premium, you do that. So basically you update this table before the next year starts. And then from Jan 1st, you have to just follow this table once. So it will take you 2-3 hours to update this table based on various policy papers, but then you're done for the entire year. Now I'll just give you a little more tip on how to maintain your file. Okay, so this is how I maintain my file. I have one single file for the insurance policies. Okay, now in that file, there are segregations of various folders of the type of insurance. Okay, not person wise, type wise. That is how I do it. The reason is that whenever something happens, you are more interested in that type of insurance, right? So for example, there is an accident that happens. Then you're interested in the accident policy as well as the mediclaim policy. If there is a burglary in the house or if there is a damage in the house, you are interested in the house insurance policy. If unfortunately there is a death in the family, you are interested in the life policy. So it does not matter in terms of who that policy is. Obviously it matters, but I'm saying that the first thing is the type of insurance, right? Once you get inside the type, then you look at which policy is whose, right? So for example, there is an accident where all the 4 members were involved. Then you will require the mediclaim of all the 4 members. So if you had made person wise, then you would have had to go to all the 4 folders and take out the mediclaim policies. Rather, all your mediclaim were in one. So you just take that one folder out and you're done, you're ready. Make sense? So that is how I do it. I put all my type of insurance into one folder and all those folders go into one single file. And in that file, I take a printout of this table and I take a printout of these two and I stick it in the file on the left side. When you open the file on the left side, I stick it there or I put a paper there, right? So at any point of time you want to review, you don't have to find your computer because anyways you're going to update this only once a year. So you keep following that as a practice in terms of a physical file, and this you can keep updating whenever you want. You mark it as yes once a payment is done, and then you check your analysis report. With that, we are done with managing insurance policies. There's going to be a lot of other videos also on personal finance management. I have put a link below of the playlist for personal finance. Do go ahead and watch them. It's really interesting and it will help you a lot. Please do like, share and subscribe and leave comments below, however it helped you. Thank you so much.